Hey, it's Nick Steiner with my shoe evaluation video. My two pairs of shoes that I'll be talking about today. The first one is a pair of New Balance trainers. They're pretty big, size 13. Got big feet, but yeah. I use these shoes for umpiring. They're a very good shoe to wear. I feel like I've always been pretty true to New Balance, especially with baseball. So I really do like these shoes. My other shoe is these Adidas running shoes that we got, I think, last year for baseball. Very comfortable. I always enjoy wearing them around. Wore them a lot in the weight room. Pretty good shoe. So first off, we're gonna go with the last of the shoes. As you can see, this one is very thin. It has that big hourglass shape. It is good. I kind of do like them to be thinner. However, I do wear orthotics, so that can kind of get in the way of some shoes that might be too thin. Just simply because the orthotics are kind of wide. Um, but yes, I these are pretty good for running and stuff. Um, these ones, not so much. There is a little bit, but it is definitely thicker. Um, so, I mean, personally, I think it doesn't really matter with these shoes because they are very comfortable and very nice to run in, and that's my preference. Flexibility. So with the New Balances, these things they don't budge, and that's one thing that I do like about them. Is in umpiring, they don't budge a whole lot, and I don't have the greatest feet, so sometimes that less resistance on my or that less what's the word, pushing on my feet, like it definitely helps. Whereas these do feel comfortable, but my feet, because you can see this bends a little easier. It's still pretty firm, but whenever I would run in these, typically my feet would get a little more sore because I'd have to work harder with my feet. So that's that. The the medial to lateral twist. See, these don't do anything really either. But the good thing about it is the arch in here is very high, so I naturally do already get that pronation, just simply because the way my feet are, it'll with that arch it naturally just pushes off the inside. But yeah, definitely these are very strong, very thick shoes, which I do like, especially for umpiring, which I wear them with for a 14-hour day out of the ball field. It does pretty good with my feet. These, however, still a little more twisty, but really not that bad. Um, so yeah, they are still they really good for running. Definitely good for pronation. Um, but yeah, the uh, the heel counter on this side, I mean, it's very minimum. You can't you can barely squeeze on it, and then whenever you're pushing, I mean, there's hardly any resistance here, or there's a ton of resistance that is. Whereas this shoe, I mean, you can squeeze pretty hard. Like you can see that goes in pretty hard. Same with the middle, you can push that in. There's not a whole lot of heel resistance in this one versus the New Balance. And then also the foam at the bottom, it's very hard on the New Balance. Like there's no squish in it, which is good for, you know, them being trainers. Use them a lot. Like whenever I'm out at the ball field, like there's no give, especially when I'm on turf or dirt. So that's nice. Whereas these are actually I thought these would be a little more foamy, but really these are pretty hard as well. But you can tell there's a lot less density in these compared to the New Balance. The New Balance definitely you can tell they're thicker and maybe weigh a little bit more in the bottom, whereas these ones are lighter. The bottoms of them, you can tell the outside definitely is thick, but the inside, I mean, yeah, it's a lot more dense. So or a lot less dense, sorry. But honestly, my opinion on the two shoes, I definitely would wear the New Balance. I mean, they're different types of shoes, so I'd wear the New Balance. Umpiring, I'll wear them to golf in sometimes. Maybe to like weightlift, just to get that more flat bottom versus the gray, the Adidas. I would use those to run in more often because I don't run a lot and I don't run far. So whenever I do run, it's not a whole lot of strenuous activity toward my feet, and so the cushioning in them sometimes makes it feel better, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's about all I got for you today. Thanks.